ASMR from Zack the Ripper Comics. How's that sound? Can you taste it? Do you want to taste that? How's it taste? Welcome back, everybody. Professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast, Zack the Ripper Comics here. And on today's episode, we're going to take a look at Monday Night Raw. Now, I want to preface my entire review with the fact that I thought the show was actually really good, albeit empty. So in the past couple years, Raws have been absolutely terrible for the most part, and I thought this show was a really good, thought out, written show. It's just that the performers can't seem to get the job done when it comes to believability and accountability. So we start the show off with Randy Orton, the WWE champion, coming out, cutting what I thought was an excellent promo. I like the different camera angles that seem to be used in this promo. I think maybe they were testing the waters for potentially keeping them as Thunderdome cameras, and I thought they were really cool. He makes it clear that he's better than anybody in the back, be it on Raw or SmackDown, which brings out Alexa Bliss. Alexa taunts Randy, letting him know that the Fiend is there. Randy looks very scared, which I enjoy. This sets up for later in the night. I like that Randy Orton has fear of the Fiend because we've only ever seen him fearful of The Undertaker.
Velcro. They call me Velcro, baby. They call me Velcro, baby.
The Fiend does not appear, however, as Drew McIntyre makes his appearance, knocks out Randy Orton, which then brings out The Miz with John Morrison in tow to cash in the Money in the Bank. This was a very exciting moment. If you're educated in the business, or at least as a longtime fan, you're probably assuming, like I was, that there's no way The Miz is going to cash in and win on this moment. And he didn't, but the fact that they did it, that they used this as a little bit of a storytelling piece, a seed, if you will, and the fact that The Miz cashed in on Randy Orton in 2010 to win the WWE Championship shows that they're putting some thought and some effort into the storytelling for Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre fends off The Miz, fends off John Morrison, and makes it clear that if anybody's going to beat Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, it's going to be him. This sets up a fantastic promo for later in the night where The Miz backstage makes it clear that he wants Drew McIntyre in a match. John Morrison butts in, challenges Drew to a handicap match in which Drew, of course, and obviously, wins. Following that match, Randy Orton would leave Drew McIntyre laying with an RKO. This I found a little redundant and a little boring, as I didn't think the booking here was good. We've already seen a Hell in a Cell, so to go off the air with just an RKO is a little lame. However, they added one little seed of storytelling that I very much enjoyed, as Randy Orton was celebrating like he has for the past couple Raws going off the air, the Fiend's laugh hit. And when the Fiend started laughing throughout the arena Thunderdome speakers, Randy Orton again showed signs of fear. And they're clearly going in the direction of this feud, as earlier in the night on the Firefly Funhouse, we saw a fantastic, entertaining Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss make it clear that the Fiend is still going after Randy Orton. What I'm thinking here is that the Fiend will cost Randy Orton his match at Survivor Series against Roman Reigns, because there's no way anybody's beating Roman Reigns right now. This will set up the championship match between Randy Orton and The Fiend at some point, in which Drew McIntyre will ensure that The Fiend does not win. This will detour Drew McIntyre from the Randy Orton feud into a feud with The Fiend, which eventually turns Drew McIntyre into a heel, which is where he belongs. In relation to the Funhouse, Sister Abby cussing was fantastic stuff, followed up by Bray Wyatt saying, "Oh," later in the segment. And as far as Alexa Bliss, a fun little backstage segment with Nikki Cross, where they've actually shown that they're not forgetting certain storylines that started Years ago on SmackDown, the Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss tag team storyline is continuing, albeit perhaps without the tag team part. Nikki Cross just wondering what's up with her friend, where she's been, has the Fiend changed her, with Alexa Bliss turning around with those glass cat eyes that we saw last week on Raw. Nikki Cross kind of scared off by this. Guitar on a pole match, yes, it's 20 years ago, between Jeff Hardy and Elias. Say what you will, internet, because I know you are. You're all out there typing on your little keyboards about how much of a Vince Russo idea this is and so forth. At the end of the day, they're getting you talking, and at the end of the day, it was actually fresh, as there hasn't been in anything on the pole match in years. So you know what? As much as I don't care about this feud, and I don't care about Elias, and I don't care about Jeff Hardy, and I don't care about poles, and I don't care about guitars, I liked this. I actually thought this was positive. This was better television than what we've seen in recent weeks from the guys involved in this program. Women's Tag Team Championship match up next, as this Raw has been flowing segment to segment to segment so far, and I commend them on that. The champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending against the team I've been praising for over a month now of Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. And it sucks to admit this, but I did not like the match itself. I thought it was way overbooked as far as the Lana stuff running in and things of that nature, and the way that it just felt like they were dragging, they were working in cement. Everything felt somewhat slow motion to me. With Lana being on the outside, this does set up her versus Nia Jax later in the night, in which she says she's finally going to stand up for herself and avenge everything that Nia does to her, and instead Nia puts her through a table for the 7th week in a row. Next up, in a preview of Survivor Series, it's a champion versus champion match, 0 titles on the line, as United States Champion, the Hurt Business's Bobby Lashley takes on the 24/7 champion R-Truth. Now, the one positive thing about this is that R-Truth was able to show a lot of his comedic timing, telling Bobby that there's no reason to have the match, even as far as laying down for Bobby Lashley. Lashley was not content with this though, however, as he picked R-Truth up, completely squashed him. Drew Gulak would then run in to try to win the 24/7 championship because he bumped into Lashley. Lashley destroys him, but then just throws him on top of R-Truth, and Drew Gulak is your new 24/7 champion. If you're at all a fan of R-Truth's comedy, then please tune in to WWE Raw Talk, specifically this week when Braun Strowman was on there. R-Truth had me absolutely rolling. At one point, Braun Strowman makes it clear that the girls that he dates are way bigger than AJ Styles, to which R-Truth responds, BBWs, am I right? Fantastic stuff. I'll toast one of these bad boys to that, R-Truth. And Braun Strowman wanted to make it clear to the Survivor Series team consisting of Keith Lee, AJ Styles, and Sheamus that he should be on their team and he should not have to qualify. Adam Pearce, the WWE official, then makes it a match as Braun Strowman goes against Keith Lee and Sheamus, and if Braun Strowman can win by pinning either one of them, he will be added to the Survivor Series team. This was a fantastic big man Haas matchup. I've been saying for a while now that the Haas's, when in the ring together with the right psychology, can have fantastic hard-hitting matches that really grab the viewer and get me in, even if it's a guy like Keith Lee that I don't give a crap about. AJ Styles was on commentary continuously letting us know that he is the captain. Now, of course, he's not actually the captain, but all of these men feel like they should be captaining the team. We also found out that Jordan, the associate of AJ Styles, is now just known as the associate. Braun Strowman able to pick up the victory in this match, cementing his spot on the Survivor Series team. Post-match, Sheamus hugs Braun, letting him know that he's welcome on the team even though he beat him, and then Brogue kicks his head off. MVP has dictated that the 2 tag team members of the Hurt Business are going to be Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, and they're going to go against the Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day, in a matchup here tonight, but the titles are not on the line. The heels, the Hurt Business, make it clear that they're going to win, then they'll win the titles, and then they will beat the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and the battle for brand supremacy. And in what I thought was an awesome turn of events, Shelton Benjamin hits the pay dirt finisher, followed by Cedric Alexander getting the pin, getting the victory. These guys have been on a roll. It's funny how just a month and a half ago, Cedric Alexander was absolutely worthless, just like his partner Ricochet, who I'll get to in just a minute. And now he's actually entertaining and seeming to slow down what he does in the ring and doing things a lot smarter, which is no doubt who he's been hanging out with's influence on him. Earlier in the day, Ricochet runs into Tucker backstage, asks him why he did what he did to Otis. Who cares? That's basically what Tucker says. Tucker's promos are so horrible, he has wrestler promo voice. He kind of whispers, but has it real turned up. Sounds like an absolute buffoon, an absolute idiot. He cannot talk. Please stop putting the microphone in front of his face. Speaking of not being able to talk, it's Ricochet. He is absolutely horrible. If anybody believes that this guy could do anything in the company, then you are out of your freaking minds. So we get to the matchup between these two, and I'm just going to say it was absolute hot garbage. Mustafa Ali, rumored to be calling himself the Messenger now, comes to ringside to watch the match. Ricochet gets the victory, so bye-bye big heel push for you, Tucker. And Retribution then makes their way out, and they jump Ricochet. Now, this is quite obvious, and you might be thinking that Tucker joined in on the beatdown, but he didn't. He actually stood up to Retribution, and then they beat him down. Now, no, I don't think you're going to see a Tucker and Ricochet tag team match anytime soon, taking on Retribution. I kind of feel that this was a scouting match for Retribution, that perhaps this was Tucker's initiation by getting his ass kicked so bad that they put him in, because God knows there can't be anything worse than what he wore, than what he dressed as tonight. My ass for eating hot wings dipped in blue cheese looked better than whatever Tucker dressed in, whatever he wore, and how his physique looked on Monday night. Now, if any of you are familiar with Kinda Funny and Kinda Funny Games on YouTube, over at Rooster Teeth/Kinda Funny, you would know that they are fantastic individuals that have fantastic content here on YouTube about video games and comic books and movies and all things in between. All of them over there are fantastic. Hashtag KFAF for life. Streamy winners they should have been. Someday they will be. But I have a special surprise for you, as Kinda Funny's Tim Geddes and Greg Miller are going to be live on Zack the Ripper Comics. And they're going to be live here on this very episode. As Greg Miller and Tim Geddes were just recently hanging out with my brother Aaron, and Aaron contacted me and he said, Zack, I want to send you something special. I want to send you something that lets you know what I think of your show. And I have two great guests. I have Greg Miller and I have Tim Geddes, and we were talking about Zack the Ripper Comics, and we just wanted you to know what we think of the channel. And I can't tell you how touched I am. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Geddes, Greg Miller of Kinda Funny and Kinda Funny Games. Guys, what's going on? How you doing? What do you think of Zack the Ripper Comics?
Zack sucks, man.
Hey everybody, it's us from Kinda Funny. We want to say Zack sucks.
Thanks
for bringing other people in, but Zack sucks, KFAF sucks, and Nick sucks too. Fire Nick.
Fire them all.
But we love you, Zack. Thank you for caring.
Alright. We have technical difficulties, and I apologize for that. It sounded like they were saying some things that I'm sure they don't mean. Anyhow, everybody, hashtag KFAF. Go check out Kinda Funny over at youtube.com/kindafunny and Kinda Funny Games. And I want to thank all of my patrons on Patreon for supporting the channel, as it goes a long, long way. I've added some awesome gifts via Patreon for all of the patronage that you do. Thank you for everybody for liking us on Facebook, finding us on Instagram, hitting up the eBay store for all of your comic book needs, visiting the Teespring store with the link in the description below for anything Zack the Ripper Comics merchandise related, and last but not least, hitting the thumbs up on this very video, subscribing to the channel, as we are over 1,000 subscribers. Until next time. Biggie, 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 can't you see? I don't know, whatever his name is.